the Weatherhead School of Management at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio. It's my great pleasure to be here, and I just want to say thanks, especially to the Prime team, for making this event possible. It's a real global event, and I think that PRME deserves credit for hosting a low-carbon event, and I think we need more of that in the world. I'd like to especially thank Shamsa and also Teresa from WikiRates for helping pull this together. And I was really struck by Philip's presentation, how much AIM2Flourish is a complement to WikiRates as a student engagement and education initiative, because WikiRate really focuses on the data piece of it, students learning about engaging with data, and AIM2Flourish focuses on engaging students in direct personal experience and storytelling. So we're going to go ahead to the next slide. What we are, AIM2Flourish is an initiative that was the first experiential curriculum out of the gate. In June of 2015, we launched right here at the last Prime Global Forum, which was incredibly exciting. This is a long-standing partnership with PRME. We are based at an advanced signatory school, and AIM2Flourish is embedded on and grows from the business systems approach called appreciative inquiry, which is about finding out more of what's working and building on it. It's a real turn on its head from the traditional deficit-based thinking that most of us are captured by just as human beings. The gist of it is positive interviews with inspiring business leaders between students and business leaders, intergenerational. Next slide.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do it myself.
The down button.
Okay, thanks. Here's the gist. Students interview a business leader who inspires them. They write and publish these stories as part of their class assignment with the guidance of professors like Gina. And every one of these stories tells about a specific business innovation that a business is using to make money that's also directly positively contributing to one or more of the global goals. And then we celebrate the best of the best every year with the 17 best stories. We celebrate the business, the professor, and the student. We call them the Flourish Prizes. As of today, AIM2Flourish is the world's largest collection of student-written positive business stories for the SDGs. I am almost ready to say we are the world's largest collection, period. Since this screenshot was captured, our total as of this morning is 1,306 stories. We launched here at PRME in June 2015. We've worked with over 400 professors. We have almost 6,500 community members. AIM2Flourish is being experienced in 60 countries with 205 business schools. So clearly we have another 500 to go before we're fully serving the PRME community. Over 1,300 stories and 71 institutions are actively using AIM2Flourish today with their students. This is a panel about student engagement. So we're very happy to say that 87% of our community members are business students. Then there is a smaller proportion of professors and citizens and business leaders who are the ones who are supporting our students. We are a student-forward initiative. This is about serving and preparing global goals leaders. Our stories, over 1,300, come from 24 countries around the world. Most of them not the United States. We very purposefully went out to say, can we make this initiative work everywhere before coming back to the richest and best resource country in the world? I'll be very happy to share these slides with everyone, so don't worry if there's something you're missing or there's a screenshot you want to go back to. The distribution for the stories by global goals, as we all know, they're interdependent, they're universal, but we do ask students as part of their learning experience to pick one primary goal that the innovation is serving. I've circled 3 of the goals. Goal 3, good health. Goal 11, sustainable cities. Goal 12, responsible consumption. That's where the students are truly most strongly identifying today. We had a very specific initiative to develop stories for Goal 16 in 2016. It was very successful. It taught us what we need to know to be helping professors help their students find more of those stories. We have a special care and concern for Goal 16 as a driving lever for the goals overall. This is a map that shows us where our members are worldwide. We do have community members in 60 countries, and we have a strong presence in North America with our friends in Canada and the United States together. I'd also like to just take a little tiny sidecar to say that I'm very proud to say that my institution, in partnership with Kent State, is going to be the host for next year's Prime North America Conference. We're really, really excited about that opportunity, and we're really looking forward to hosting all of you. If your home country is not on this map and you'd like to see it quickly and dominantly outstrip everyone else, we're up for that challenge and we're up for that game. That's how this works. It's a race to the top where we all win. This is some data that I'm really happy to share about student engagement with the SDGs that shows how our program is growing and how we can show that there is more student engagement with the SDGs. This is the what's happening, and then in a minute I'm going to say what are our thoughts on what does it mean. Semester over semester, we increased by 1.5, and spring over spring, we engaged twice as many students. A lot of that credit goes to Gina. And next year when we prepare this chart, you're going to see the growth even more accelerating, which is exactly the progress we need for the SDGs movement as a whole. This is a reflection. Student engagement for the SDGs accelerating truly reflects the progress we need to make as a united human community. We're also experiencing an acceleration, a positive acceleration in the number of stories that we're actually publishing. And we're just really happy to have this data, to be able to share it, and to ask all of us together to say, what does this mean? What's working? And in a truly appreciative inquiry sort of way, what would be even better? How can we build on our strengths? We're just at the beginning of being able to say, what kind of stories, what kind of businesses are our students interested in learning more about? AIM2Flourish does not tell students what businesses they should write about. We give our professors resources that if they choose in their own classroom to say, you might want to look here, or here's a place, if you look at B Corps as a whole, you'll find likely businesses who might have a story you want to tell. But we purposefully just wanted to see what the data would show if we let students do it without prescription. Not surprisingly, students are helping us share untold stories about positive business innovation from smaller companies, sometimes tiny. But the numbers from bigger companies are growing. Some of it is simply that people feel more comfortable approaching a small business. Often the email gets answered by the owner or founder of the company. It's also worthwhile just to say quickly, what kind of businesses are even eligible for a student to write about? We are focusing on for-profit businesses. Our specific and unique perspective is that business is the most powerful force for good on earth, and it is essential to accomplish and achieve the global goals by 2030. So we're asking students to write about businesses that have been up on their feet, self-supporting, not necessarily profit-generating, for at least 2 years. So we're not profiling business cases. There's lots and lots and lots of people in the business education space who are working on case competitions, lots and lots of startup accelerators. Those are good. We want more of those. We're just serving a different part of the challenge. We want to know about going for-profit, successful businesses, because we believe if we support them, we can help keep the ship moving in the right direction. This is just a little bit more data that we can now glean about how old, how mature are the companies that our students are writing about. Most of them are writing about traditional C Corps. We have a strongly growing trend with students writing about B Corps. And in Latin America, Empresa Base, we have a wonderful partnership with the Sistema B network in Latin America. Now I want to tell you what this means. What do people tell us? Gina's already shared some wonderful testimonials, and this is just another. One of our professors in Colombia, a wonderful gentleman named Professor Lopez, he says that offering AIM2Flourish to his students shows in an experiential way how the dreams of a more constructive and committed business sector can inspire young people to help build the better world that we know is possible and that science tells us we must construct if any of us want to do business 2 or 3 generations from now. This is a new slide. I am so excited. If you could be excited about a PowerPoint slide, this is me being excited. This is a word cloud from 250 student reflections. Gina mentioned that her students reflect on the experience of publishing a story. And we have access to those. We have over 1,000 of them now. And we are in the process of doing proper grounded research in what do 1,000 student reflections about an educational experience mean. That research is just beginning. We have 2 full academic years of data now to work with. But when I picked 250 random reflections and asked Google to tell me what comes up to the top, the words that come up are learned, important, interview, that there's a direct experience. Students are not writing these stories based on a Google search. They're sitting down in person and having a conversation with a real business leader. The words that come up like community, enterprise, and especially flourish, which is a lot better than sustainable. We all know that. Sustainable and sustainability didn't even make the top 50. And if that tells you anything, it means that our students, leaders of tomorrow, are looking for something more than, well, it just keeps going. They're looking for something that's flourishing for their whole life. We do have quantitative results now with 2 full academic years. Not surprisingly, students like doing it because it gets them out of the classroom. We have good data that shows that at the beginning and end of their experience with their professor that they learned about the SDGs. They learned about appreciative inquiry as a method that they can use in all parts of their life. And we have examples on the board now of students getting jobs as a direct one-to-one result of having done the Aim to Flourish assignments, internships, a board seat, career shifts, as Gina mentioned. And I recently talked to a former student of ours from Mexico. She is now the sustainability director for her county in Mexico. So her state, forgive me. Her state in Mexico, she is now the person sitting at the national board. That trajectory started when she did an Aim to Flourish assignment. We could not be more proud of her. And now I'm almost at the end. What can we do more? How can we work together more? We're going to continue to work with the people in the room and with us today virtually. When we go together, we go far. So we want to partner more closely with all of you. We have tremendous research opportunities to understand what is it about Aim to Flourish that works so well for students. How can what we learn be applied more broadly to responsible management education? We are committed and grateful to our professors who are using Aim to Flourish in their classrooms around the world. They remain our most important stakeholder group. And we're starting to explore, now that we have this database of over 7, how many businesses are profiled? I don't have that number in my exact mind, but for all these businesses that are profiled and Aim to Flourish, there are investable opportunities. We have 3 examples now of businesses that have received funding from impact investors as a direct result of an Aim to Flourish story. So we now have that experience that is actually happening in the world. How can we make it happen more often, more powerfully, and in a replicable way, more places? And we want to be part of the SDGs, being part of more citizens' mindsets. This is a slide I simply want to call it to the attention of everyone here that there is the SDG Accord movement. If you haven't heard about it, I'm going to encourage us all to take a look and possibly decide to join it as a sponsoring organization for your institution or as a citizen. In alignment with Debbie's research, they're also asking students about their level of SDGs awareness. And I'm intrigued by their research. There is a link to it. You can also simply Google SDGs Accord report. This is one of the partnerships that we're interested in supporting and promoting. And that's the end of my presentation, and I leave you with a positive, appreciative question. How might we together powerfully and effectively partner so that 100% of every business student everywhere graduates ready and committed to be a global goals leader? And that's why I'm here today. That's why I do my job every day. And thank you again to PRME for making today possible.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you very much, Claire. That was fantastic. Really appreciate it. I would like to open up